Hello home bakers, today I'm going to be showing you how to make a delicious summer fruit cake. First, I'm going to show you how to bake the delicious cake sponge and also how to decorate your cakes with fruit so that you get a perfect delicious cake. Now, the cake base is a simple Victoria sponge cake. It sounds simple, but it's absolutely delicious and it's the perfect cake base for a sponge cake. We're going to start off with creaming the butter and the sugar mixture until it's well combined. Creaming is a process of mixing your fat, which is your butter and the sugar, until it's thoroughly combined, incorporating air. So at the end, you'll see that your mixture will go from a pale yellow to white, fluffy, voluminous mix, just like that. So that is what your mixture should look like. It will take about 3 minutes to cream your butter if you're using a stand mixer. It will be longer if you're using a hand mixer, and even longer if you are mixing by hand. Can you see how soft and fluffy that is? So that is the benefit of creaming your mixture, and that will translate into a sponge that is yummy and delicious. So we're using butter at room temperature, and we have used caster sugar. Caster sugar has finer granules compared to white granulated sugar, but if that is all that you have, then you can use white granulated sugar. Next, we're going to add in the eggs while mixing on low speed. Add the eggs one after each other, leaving a couple of seconds in between for the egg to be incorporated into the mix. And then once you've added all the eggs, mix for about a minute until it's well combined. Now, if you haven't subscribed, I can tell you that you are missing out. I post new videos every week, so please, it would mean a lot for me if you can click the subscribe button. And don't just subscribe and turn on all the notification buttons. So literally, as soon as I post a video, you will be the first to know. So you're going to add your flavoring, which is vanilla flavoring. Now I'm using vanilla bean paste, which I like to use, but if you haven't got vanilla bean paste, then you can use good old-fashioned vanilla extract to give you good vanilla flavoring into your cake. Mix that up together until it's well combined. Now you're going to add your flour. So I'm adding it in bits and mixing on low speed until I can't see any flour granules. Then I'm going to add the next bit of the flour. It's always important when you start to add flour to the wet ingredients to make sure that you don't overmix. Overmixing starts to develop the gluten molecules which are in your cake, and overdeveloped gluten molecules make your cake tough. So you just want to mix the flour until you can't see any white flour substance. So once it gets to that stage, then you stop. What I like to do is stop once the flour looks like it's just about combined, and then I switch to just mixing it with a spatula. This way you have better control over how much you are mixing it. So you just want to mix until you're not seeing any lumps, and then you stop. The other advantage is that if you're mixing with hand, particularly if you have a big volume of cake, sometimes the bottom, so of cake batter, sometimes the bottom hasn't mixed properly, so you can just mix it nicely until it's well combined, and then you can then put it into your cake pan. You should have pre-prepared your cake pan beforehand, so that is something to bear in mind. And also the other thing that you should have done right at the start of your baking is to preheat your oven so that by the time you're ready to put the cake in, it's already at the right temperature. So pour your cake batter into your cake tins. Once the batter is all in the cake tins, give it a nice tap and pop it into your oven. If you're not sure how to line your cake, I will put my tutorial on this in the description section. Okay, our cakes are ready, and we're just going to take it out of the cake tin and leave it to cool on a wire rack. it's important that you make sure that your cakes are completely cool before you decorate. Because as you can imagine, if your cake is still hot, when you put buttercream, ganache, or whatever frosting that you're using on the top of your cake, it's going to melt your frosting and you'll have a gooey mess. So make sure that you allow a couple of hours for your cakes to fully cool down. If you're going to be rushed for time, what you can actually do is bake your cakes, say the day before, and then wrap it in cling film and store it in the fridge. Or if you're super organized, you can actually bake way in advance and freeze your cakes. And yeah, so make sure you are not decorating a hot cake. So this is the part where we decorate with our fruits. So for this summer fruit cake, I'm using strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries. Make sure that you have thoroughly washed your fruits and also thoroughly dried them. So I dry them using paper towel and give it a rub to make sure that it is fully dry. Because if it's not dry, all that moisture is going to go into your cake and make it soggy. So I have sandwiched the middle of my cake using some buttercream and also on the top. Now, because I wasn't serving this cake on that day, I put a layer of chocolate ganache and then buttercream. So that protects the cake. So any of the juices from the fruit is not going to soak into the cake and make the cake soggy. And you just arrange the fruit cake on the outside of the cake. And there you have it, a delicious summer fruit cake. Happy baking.